Okay, so for my put food by homework, I'm going to be doing cured eggs, which is a way of preserving the egg yolks or even the whole egg for a long time if you can't refrigerate it. So I've combined 1 3/4 cups of salt, kosher salt, and then 1 1/4 of a cup of sugar, and I've stirred it here. And now we gotta get the yolks out and put them all together. Okay, so the next step is we put it in a 8-inch glass baking dish. And then I also separated the egg yolks from the egg whites. And I just want to do this because I just want the cured egg yolk and I saved the whites for breakfast. So you put them into the little divots. And I broke yolk. It's fine. I did break a yolk on this one, but I think we're just gonna try and cover it up anyway. So we're gonna push in the rest of the little divots so it covers the sides. And then we're gonna take the leftover and we're gonna cover it on top. And the important thing is to make sure that it's entirely covered because the salt and the sugar are gonna soak up the excess moisture from the eggs and from also just the outside world. And we wanna make sure that there's enough on top so it can really just soak up from the egg, or to harden it and preserve it. Okay, so that's good. So I covered the pan with a tight press seal, and then I'm going to move it to the fridge for 4 days and let that chill, and I'll come back and we'll finish the rest of the video. So the science behind cured eggs is basically the same as the science behind cured meat, which is when you apply the salt and sugar mixture, it pulls out the water or any kind of watery substance from the meat, or in this case, the eggs, and lowering that moisture content means that microorganisms like bacteria or yeast or mold that are responsible for any kind of spoilage of the food, or if it goes bad, that won't happen. So when you have eggs that you needed to use or they're about to go bad, you can do this in order to preserve the eggs for longer and use them to make your recipes even better. Okay, so it's been about 4 days later, and I already went ahead and uncovered some of them so we could see. So I dug them out and they had soaked up pretty much all the salt and sugar mixture that was on top of them. And so now they're, I don't know if you can see it, but they're really hard. And now I have to scrape off some of the salt and sugar mixture that's left, and then we're going to put them in the oven to dry out some more. Okay, so I just brushed off most of the sugar and salt mixture, so it's still pretty hard. It's getting some of its yolky texture back, so it's kind of slimy, I would say. But I think that's good. I don't know. Okay, let's put it in the light. You can kind of see it. It's still rock hard. You can't, there's no crushing it or doing anything. This is the yolk that broke, and what's interesting is that the sugar kind of embedded itself into the yolk, so this is really crunchy. It's not smooth like the other ones, but I'm still gonna use it to see what happens. I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's still gonna taste the same, but we'll see. So the next step is to put it on a drying rack on 150 degrees for an hour, just to dry it out some more so it becomes a cheesy texture, so you can grate it onto the surface of whatever you might be cooking. So we're gonna do that. My oven doesn't go below 200 degrees. So we're gonna see what happens. I think I'm gonna do it for about half the time and then check it and see what texture it's at. So here we go. So I didn't record exactly when it came out of the oven, but here is the final graded product, and it looks pretty good, and I tasted it and it's pretty salty. But it tastes like cured egg, and it tastes like anything that you'd get on top of a pasta or a rice dish at a restaurant. So I'm really happy with how it turned out.